Hi everyone. You can find your seats. Welcome. What? I'm always sending people to you, by the way. Oh, amazing. Thank God. Did you have a question? Yes. Oh, amazing. All right, we're going to start. We'll do a few meditations with me. Don't worry, they're going to be short, they're going to be potent and brief, and then we're going to come into a manifestation session with Ayala, and then we'll have more time to eat and schmooze and reflect and share. So, welcome everyone. It's so amazing to gather in Elul. As many of you know, the acronym for Elul comes from a verse from Shir Hashirim, Ani ledodi v'dodi li, the Hasidic masters. And this means I am to my beloved and my beloved is to me. It's a time where we are reinitiating our divine relationship. We're entering into this holy union between us and Hashem. And the Hasidic masters teach that this verse, Ani ledodi v'dodi li, represents two forms of spiritual movement in the world. There's an arousal from below, and there's also an arousal from above. The element of Elul is earth, and Elul begins this arousal from below. It's a time where we initiate this relationship. It's a time where we put our longings and our yearnings and our prayers, and they rise upwards, kind of like a seedling in the earth, in the element of Elul, rises and flourishes and goes upwards. You can also see these two movements in the name of Hashem. The permutation is the Yud, the Hey, and the Vav, and the Hey. And for an example, on a downward flow, there's this permutation is in its direct sequence, Yud, Hey, Vav, and Hey. It goes downwards, like in Nisan. There's just gifts from above. There's miracles. We don't do anything to deserve complete renewal of divine compassion and love. We just receive it. Elul is the epitome of the opposite, an arousal from below. We see that in this month of Elul, it begins with Hey, Hey, then there's the Vav and the Yud, which is totally reversed, God's name, which means the Hey is the feminine, the Makabel, the receivers. The Vav and the Yud, you can even see in the letters, they're a downward flow. They're the masculine, the Mishpia, the givers. So this month, the initiation comes from the feminine, the lower waters in Kabbalah terminology, and with a arousal, a response from the upper waters, the Vav and the Yud. So it's a feminine month, which is an amazing opportunity to gather as women in this like circular sharing environment. And I like to see this mashal, this analogy in our body, because our body is really a microcosm for the upper and the lower worlds. The Tanya says the upper worlds is our mind, the lower worlds is like our heart. So Elul is the arousal from below, and that means in our body, it's a heart-stirring month. It's soul-searching that begins with the heart. Rosh Hashanah is coming, and that's a time, it's the masculine setting intentions, it's the logic, it's the Rosh, the head of the year. But right now we're in the feminine, which is the arousal from the heart space. And if you can imagine that heart awakening flows upwards so that our mind can have a response for Rosh Hashanah of seeing who we want to be, setting our intentions, and beginning the year with focus. So we're going to have a heart-opening meditation. And the verse of Elul, Ani ledodi v'dodi li, it also stands for a verse from Shema, which also alludes to this heart opening of Elul, which is Es levavcha ve'es levav, that Hashem will open our hearts and the hearts of our offspring. So this is a really opportune time to get out of our thinking mind, our thinking brain, the to-do list, all of our menu planning, and all of our opinions, and our mind also separates us from each other, whereas the heart is like the open field. The Alter Rebbe says that Elul is the king is in the field, and the field to me represents the heart expanse, that it's the interconnectedness of all of life, that our heart is just opening and widening like a green grassy field that connects us all. And we see even in Sefer Yetzirah, the word for the Shekhinah, the feminine divine presence, is known as the heartbeat of the world. And any mystical experience is known as the running of the heart. So we can't skip over this time and just jump into our intentions. Otherwise, we're missing this open field that the divine presence is here with all of us. So we'll start a brief meditation. Don't worry, it's just going to be a few minutes. Would anyone do the honors of lighting our 3 candles? We also have the gemstone for Elul. To some opinions, this is actually for Kislev, but according to the Arizal, this is the Achlama. And the Achlama, the purple, you see, it's like sparkling purple. Yeah, the amethyst. And the root of Achlama is Chalom, which means dreams, and it's an opportune time to tap into the dreams of the heart. And so this heart meditation, we have these stones to help us get to that place of actualizing the inner dreams from the heart. So if anyone would like to approach the candles and light them for us, just to help us.
Whoever lights the candles has their intention manifest.
Amen. Don't all rush at once. Yeah, thank you. Rabbi Nachman says that the phrase paying attention is tasumat lev, which means attentiveness of the heart. So if anything, it's just about dropping into the heart and finding that attentiveness, that just gentle opening of the heart space. Like a soft flower opening to the sun, that's our soul searching of Elul. Beautiful. Thank you.
And with that, I bless that everybody has dreams.
Amen.
I was just going to say that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So let's begin by sitting in a comfortable position. You're also welcome to sit on the floor, lay down, find whatever works for you. And begin by feeling the soles of the feet on the earth, the element of Elul, feeling that awakening energy, that aliveness beneath us. You can also feel that under the sit bones and the bottoms of the legs, the supportedness behind the back. And feeling the earth element of Elul, we can just remind ourselves here, I am safe to explore my heart. I am present. I am supported. The earth, the mother, is holding us. The letter Hey. Just feel the energy that's alive and present beneath the feet. And we'll sweep the awareness to the very tip crown of the head. Maybe you sit up a little bit taller, refining your relationship with the upper realms, feeling the crown lifting, reaching upwards, an arousal from below, almost like an antenna reaching up. And we'll take the royal road from the crown down into the heart. So drop the awareness into the mind. We spend so much time here. And then let that awareness drop down through the soft channel of the throat, landing or falling at the heart space. So take a moment to land and arrive in the heart space. And this space is wide, so from shoulder tip to shoulder tip, under the collarbones, from the sternum at the front body all the way to the spine at the back body. Find the center plane between the front and back body here, that very center point of the heart. And then also feeling the back wall of the heart, the wings of the shoulder blades. And let your breath nourish and open this heart space. We'll bring the palms across the chest. So the right hand is on the left shoulder under the collarbones, and the left hand is under the right collarbones. Take a moment to just gently massage this space that has so much emotional tones here. Feeling the heartbeat under your palms, feeling the aliveness and the attentiveness of the heart. And we're going to walk deep into this cave. So gently, rhythmically, just tap side to side. There's no right or wrong pace. Just follow your own tapping. Looks like we're balancing out both the right and left energies. And we can imagine every tap is a footstep walking deeper into the cave of the heart. Deeper and deeper, walking into the inner recesses of your heart palace. A few more tapping, and press the palms deeply into the heart. Notice any emotional content here, any congestion or constriction of the heart. Just be aware. And any physical sensations of the heart, maybe a tugging, an ache, a pain, an openness. And any emotions here, yearnings, grief, sadness, love, hope. And the suggestion is to just breathe presence into whatever arises, being a total non-judgmental witness to the emotional experience, feeling everything supported under your palms. It's safe to show itself, safe to arrive here. And take some luminous breaths into the palms, filling up the heart with a beautiful energetic quality of compassion, witness, presence, awareness. And visualizing this heart space expand and widen like a green grassy field, opening gently, softly. And this open field is forgiving and allowing of your emotional experience. And we welcome the Shekhinah, the divine feminine presence, to fill our hearts with awareness and sweet compassion. And gently release your hands on your knees. Open the eyes. And once we have found some stirrings of the heart, we can then begin our soul searching, our tshuva process of Elul. So Elul is called in the Torah the Achris Shana, the end of the year. And we often put so much excitement and energy into new beginnings, right? We start a relationship with so much passion. We start the year on a high. We start projects with enthusiasm. But Elul is the art and the skill of conscious completions. It's ending the year with that same attentiveness and thoughtfulness as we began. Rav Pinson says, Elul is like just the way you open a door and you walk into a room, closing the door behind you with that same consciousness. That's what we're reflecting on through the month of Elul. And there's a beautiful story by Reb Label, who grew up in a non-Hasidic environment, and he decided he wanted to go learn with a Chassid. So he left his family, and there was a lot of turmoil in his family for leaving and going to study Hasidus, which was totally unlike anything his family had done. And when he got back, his father asked him, was it worth it? Was it worth all the turmoil you created? What did you learn? And he came back and he said, I learned 3 things with my time with the Rebbe. The first thing is that there are man and there are angels. The second thing is if man so desires and works for it, man can ascend higher than the angels. And the third thing is Bereshis bara Elokim means God creates beginnings, but we, man, create endings. And that is the art of Elul. Can we close this year with intention and reflection? So we're going to do a breath exercise, and I see Elul as this intentional inhale, right? Because the Rosh Hashanah is when we have the divine supernal exhale through the shofar. It's the first vibratory blast of new sound in the world. Through the shofar, new energy, new life comes in the world that's never, ever been here before. And actually, the Zohar says, what was the very original sound of the shofar? Where did we get the shofar from? I did a sound healing training, and we actually have a sound bowl here today, so it's perfect. The very first sound healing artifact is the shofar in history. But where did the shofar come from? And the Zohar says that what happened when Hashem created man. With all other creations, God said, through speech, let there be light, and through speech he created the world. But with Adam, the primordial human, Hashem blew life through his nostrils, a breath of life, a neshama through the neshima into his nostrils. And what was the sound created through this supernal breath? It was the sound of the shofar. And so our bodies are the original shofar, and new life emerges from it. So through the exhale is this vibration that brings life. So if Rosh Hashanah is the sound, is the great exhale, what comes right before the exhale? It's that cosmic retention. It's that point of silence before the sound. It's the inhale. And so Elul as a whole is the inhalation. So between Elul and Tishrei, it's like a cosmic breath cycle. So what does it mean to inhale? Elul is taking in all the wisdom from the year. The Hebrew letter is the Yud, the spark, the pure, the wisdom from all of our experiences is what we're meant to look for. We're not digging for dirt in this past year, we're digging for diamonds, as the Rebbe Rashab says. We are gathering all the experience of the year, however difficult or chaotic they may be, and we're finding the yud, the point of light, the point of wisdom. As soon as we find one lesson from a negative experience, we've transformed it and elevated it to a positive foundation for growth. So the inhale is taking in the experiences, And also it's the accountability. We're showing up. We're not ignoring, we're not suppressing, and we're not forgetting where we fall short. We're breathing it in and saying, yes, I see this, I see what happens, and I'm willing to take responsibility and accountability for how I showed up this year and how things went for me. So it's really, it's not an easy process to inhale and to bring that into the center. On another hand, the sira of Elul is Gevura. Gevura is the inhale, whereas Chesed is the exhale. Gevura is like receiving an inwards energy, and Chesed is the outward flowing energy of the exhale. So Elul is also the inhale is returning, and that's what Shuva is, returning to self. Shuv, hey, returning the hey, returning the breath, returning to that place within us. So we're also on the inhale nourishing the inner yud. There's the yud and the experiences of the year that we have to gather, and then there's the inner yud within us, which is the pure potency of the present. It's the enlivening spark, the godly spark that is luminous, that is totally pure and never blemished. So we're returning to that. So we'll do a brief breathing exercise focusing on this cosmic breath cycle. Got it? Okay, any questions before we start? We'll save it for the end. So let's come back into our comfortable position, however feels good for you. And we'll just get the body ready by softening. So softening the temples, loosening the jaw, draw the shoulders back and down towards the hips, lifting the side body to create some space in the diaphragm, also widening the space between the rib cage. Just giving your breath a gentle notice without changing the breath. Just noticing the inhale and the exhale floating through your body, sweeping through the body. Breath coming in and breath coming out. And sometimes when we just pay attention to the breath, it deepens naturally, effortlessly, without trying. And now we'll wrap our focus around the inhalation. Notice how you're receiving the breath. It lifts up your body, maybe filling up the low belly, top of the belly, chest, up to the collarbones, even up through the crown of the head. Notice that inhalation fully. And we'll take 5 unhurried breaths with these inhalations, focusing on drawing in all the experiences from the year. Just accepting them as they are, bringing it in. So 5 unhurried breaths starting now. So those breaths collected the sparks and brought them in. Now the next 5 breaths, also focusing on the inhalation, we'll feel every breath nourishing the inner yud, nourishing that pure spark within. returning to yourself. 5 breaths beginning now, deep and unhurried. And for this next cycle of breaths, we'll bring equal attention to the inhale and the exhale. The inhale will be returning to, and the exhale will be releasing and detaching. As we exhale, we release our energies into the open fields of the future. So inhale, returning to yourself. And exhale, releasing anything that clouds that inner truth, that highest you. 5 breaths here. And through this breath, we're undergoing the process of tshuva, returning to the hay, returning to the breath. This breath that is enlivening us, that is a gift from the supernal breath. And then every exhale, we create new energies for this upcoming year into the open fields of Elul. So we'll gently open the eyes. And we want to hear from everyone. We're going to go around, sweep through. You'll say 2 words, no more, no less. The first word will be what you're returning to. What's the tshuva? What are you coming back to on the inhale? And the second word is what are you releasing, letting go of on the exhale? So, for example, I am returning to warmth. This is mine personally. And I am releasing and letting go of anxiety. So we'll go next with Ayelet, and we'll just wrap around. You can say warmth warmth and anxiety. So returning, warmth, releasing anxiety.
Returning to surrender and releasing control.
Returning to self-love and releasing doubt. Returning to acceptance and releasing pain. Returning to trust and releasing expectations. Returning to essence and releasing fear. Returning to presence and releasing fear.
Returning to gratitude and releasing fear. Returning to light and releasing anxiety.
Returning to trust and releasing insecurity.
Returning to trust and releasing fear.
Returning to self-love and releasing worry. Returning to self and releasing anxiety.
Returning to myself and releasing pressure.
attending to even greater levels of joy and releasing doubt. Back row.
That's mine.
Okay. Doubt and distraction.
Returning to openness and releasing fear.
Returning to connection and releasing control.
Returning to I deserve it and releasing doubt.
Returning to connection and releasing worry.
Returning to gratitude and releasing doubt.
Returning to faith and releasing doubt. Returning to faith and releasing doubt.
Returning to Hashem and releasing control.
Returning to comfort and releasing isolation.
Returning to listening and releasing fear.
Turning to love and releasing anxiety.
Returning to softness and releasing stress.
Returning to bitachon and releasing anxiety.
Does everyone have a chance now? Beautiful. Well, I bless us all that we've all heard each other and we can be a support and remind each other of what we're working towards, what we're returning to and what we're releasing, and use this collective and use each other as a means to not forget and to keep the momentum going throughout Elul.
Amen. Thank you, Jenna. Amazing. Hi. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit. Thank you, Jenna, for creating the landscape of tapping into femininity and the heart, um, and clearing and cleansing and letting go. And I wouldn't be me if I didn't bring in a little bit of that other side of the coin, which is let's talk about action, let's talk about intention, and let's talk about next steps. So I love our balance. Thank you for that. Okay. I'm just going to ask everyone to take a moment to please turn off your phones if you haven't done that already. Thank you. Um, when I think of Rosh Hashanah, or this time leading up to Rosh Hashanah, I can't help but be hit with thoughts of around time. How did I spend my time this last year? What were my intentions? What were my goals last Rosh Hashanah? Did I meet those goals? If not, how can I compassionately and gently shift gears? Accept the fact that I didn't achieve those goals. Moving into this upcoming year, again, thinking about time. What are my intentions moving forward? Who do I want to become? What do I want to co-create? Manifestation. Manifestation is a co-creative dance with the divine, and it starts with thoughts. Sefer Yetzirah has one of my favorite lines. I have it framed in the foyer of my home. It goes, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. You know, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava. Do you mind closing the door just so the sound? Thank you so much. Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. The end result is wedged in the initial thought. The end result is wedged in the initial thought. Where your thoughts go, energy flows. Thoughts have power. And it's up to us. This is our role. People are often like, manifestation, but isn't Hashem in control? Yes, let's get that out of the way. Hashem is the ultimate manifester. Okay, our job is to get the heck out of our own way. Turn off the monkey mind. Turn off the 80,000 thoughts per day the average person thinks. Of that, 80% leaning towards negativity. If our thoughts, the landscape of our psyche is made up of 80% negative thinking, and thoughts become things because where your thoughts go, energy flows, how can we possibly manifest for ourselves a life of abundance? You are always using the Jewish law of attraction, whether you like it or not. Our mind is a flower garden. It's a garden, and we are the farmers. We are the cultivators. And our mind does not care what kind of seeds we plant, those seeds being our thoughts. If we plant thoughts of positivity, inevitably what will unfold in our actual reality are positive outcomes. But the other side of that same coin, and this is where our avoda comes in, is if we plant seeds of negativity, then we have to take an internal accounting if we see that our external reality is not up to par with our desires. So far, so good? Okay. The Baal Shem Tov teaches that if a person, upon setting an intention, claiming a desire, believes with their whole heart that Hashem can do anything, that Hashem is a kol yachol, then that person receives their intention immediately. Okay, we're not the Baal Shem Tov, but we're working towards getting to the next madrega, the next rung on our own individual manifestation ladder, right? This is the internal cheshbon of the month of Elul. It's the asking myself the question, where am I now, right? I always tell people, think big, but how big is the question, right? I had a client come to me once and she was like, I want to manifest financial abundance. Okay, so what does that look like? What is financial abundance? Is it $100,000 a year? Is it $1 million a year? 10 million? What? And she turned red in the face. She had no idea how to answer that question, right? So, getting clear. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But before we get clear, we have to take an internal accounting. Where am I now on that manifestation ladder? What rung am I on? And what's the very next rung on my ladder? Can I think big? Can I dream big? Absolutely. Be unapologetic with your intentions. But you don't want to think too big that now all of a sudden you've entertained voices of self doubt. You want to manifest a husband? I'm going to meet him today. There might be a voice in your head that comes in and is like, you've been dating, girlfriend, for like years. What makes you think it's possible to meet him today? Okay, so that's not your next rung. Your next rung might be, my intention, please God, if it is your will or something better, is to be married in 6 months from now. Okay, now you've quieted the voices of self doubt. So, how do we turn our minds from a mind of weeds into a mind that looks like a flower garden of beautiful thoughts? Well, let's first understand, what is that garden made of? The answer is stories. If there's one line you take away from this conversation, it's this: the stories you tell yourself become your reality. The stories you tell yourself become your reality, period. No and ifs or buts. You wake up in the morning and you think that first thought, Sof ma'aseh v'machshava tchila, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Well, guess what? How is your day going to unfold? However, if you wake up in the morning and your first thought is Modeh ani, thank you Hashem for giving me another opportunity at life, then that initial seed, that thought is going to start this ripple effect into the rest of your day. We all come into this world and we perceive, as babies, as kids, we perceive the world as a playground of possibility. I see he's not even 3 years old. He's like, my son, Aviel. You know that amusement park that they just built in Gone Soccer? It's not a playground, it's an amusement park. Okay, my husband and my son and I was there watching, and I'm just like praying the entire time because he's not even 3 and he's climbing up that whole structure. There's a slide that looks like King Dakar. Has anyone been to Six Flags? Okay. It's insane. But this 3-year-old has no limitation. He's like, wee! the whole time down the side, meaning I'm like, God, Hashem, please protect my child here. Children do not see limitation. However, what happens, right? In fact, before I go into what happens, just to prove that kids don't have limitation, anything is a kol yachol, anything is possible in their koach hadimiyon, in their visualization, in their imagination, right? What is the number one costume that little girls wear on Purim? Queen, princess, kala. Why? Why? I already said a bracha.
It's kind of like the highest status female thing they can imagine.
Yes, exactly. And what happens when they put on that costume?
They're 100% it.
They're 100% it. It's not even I feel like I'm a prince. No, I am a princess. That 4-year-old, she's going around waving that magic wand, creating fairy dust everywhere. Like she is a princess. And a boy is a superhero, right? Or a fireman if you're my son. I was at the beach one summer and I was witnessing this scene. There was a family sitting on their beach blanket and they must have been a 4-year-old son. He took a Superman towel, wrapped it around his neck so that it draped down his back like a superhero's cape. And he flailed his arms in the air and he's running circles around his parents' beach blanket, yelling at the top of his lungs, I'm Superman, I'm Superman. And I'm there watching this and I'm like, please, God, don't take away this boy's vision of what he could be, of who he truly is. The princess, the queen, the bat melech. Hashem is in the field. God is in the field. This is the ultimate, most auspicious time. Okay, we say that every month of the Hebrew calendar. But this is the most, because this time Winnie the Pooh says, what's the best day? Today, because this is the day we have, Modeh Ani, right? This is the most auspicious month to get clear about how we want the rest of our year to unfold. I promise you, Jen and I did this similar event last year. I had so many people message me throughout the year saying, thank you for that event. I got clear, I got focused, and this manifest. I got married, I got engaged, I got this, I got this, I got this, I got that. But let's not overthink it, right? The 80,000 thoughts a day that the average person thinks, if we can just quiet the mind and tap into the wisdom of the heart, right? And we just pop the negative thought bubbles throughout the year and replace it with a better feeling thought, you will start to see a ripple effect take place in the direction of your dreams. When I was 7 years old, my childhood crush, Tommy, true story. I feel like some of you are laughing because you already know the story. He comes up to me, taps me on the shoulder, looks me in the eyes, and he says, Ayelet, I don't like you. Not even a little bit. Get that through your thick head. Okay, what was the stories I told myself about myself in that moment?
He doesn't like me.
Well, clearly he doesn't like me, yes. I'm ugly, I'm not beautiful. What else? Unlovable.
Something wrong.
Uh-huh. Right, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. Right? And we fill our minds with this junk. The things we tell ourselves, we would never dare say about somebody else out loud. But we treat our minds like a garbage can. Let's just get real. How can we manifest a life we love? How can we release all the things that Jenna guided us in, anxiety, control, comparison, self? How can we release that until we start going in, taking that YOU turn into the self and micromanaging the most important organ we have? Elul, leading up to Rosh Hashanah, is a time where we are invited to come back to that state of purity, of childlike innocence, of infinite possibility, the sign of the month, Betula, that virgin purity, right? Before all the stories got created, before I got a question wrong in front of my class and now I feel humiliated and now a story got planted, I'm stupid, right? Let's come back to that place that precedes story, that place where when we had faith in love, not faith in fear or self-doubt. Babies have faith in love. That's all they want. My kids, they just want love 24/7. They drink it up. Right? Let's come back to that place where we can recognize that we are constantly standing under a faucet of infinite abundance at all times. Hashem is a kol yachol. He wants to give you like a parent to a child, right? It's us who we get out of alignment. We push ourselves out of that stream of infinite abundance. You can get to that place where you think a thought and you see the response to that thought immediately. There's a book you want, you think the thought, and then you're walking down the street and that same book is Hefker on the side of the road. Right? That's a reality. That is the manifestation mindset. Right? But let's get out of our own way. So the avoda of Elul, we said the ultimate tshuva meaning returning to. It's not, I'm guilty, I'm guilty, I'm guilty, I'm guilty, I'm guilty. It's a returning to that place we said before the story. It's that blank slate. From that place, we can rewrite. In fact, we said the highest tikkun during the month of Elul is tshuva. We take the word tikkun, we rearrange the letters, and we get the word tinok, baby. That's not a coincidence. Let me ask a question. What is the tool, and if you've heard me speak before, please don't shout it out, give someone else a chance. What is the tool given only to human beings that allows us to create meaning in our lives? Our speech. Very good. Speech. In fact, speech, has anyone heard of the words abracadabra? Does anyone know the language that it stems from? Aramaic, Old Hebrew. Abracadabra is translated to abara kedibur, kedabera. Abracadabra. It gets created in my speech. The Zohar teaches that our speech is the direct link from the physical world to the spiritual world. Mida keneged mida. As above, so below. If we are speaking words of impossibility, then what's happening in the higher realms, the angels are gathering, and we're constantly, through our speech, creating tribes of angels that surround us. Every word we utter. So we can either create a tribe of angels that are pushing us in the direction of our desires, or we can create a tribe of angels that are blocking us from being under that infinite faucet of abundance. Personal growth is not about learning new information. It's about unlearning old beliefs. Okay. I said before we started that I'm going to do something I never do, which is talk less and have you experience more. So I'm going to share a little bit more, and then we're going to go into a visualization exercise. But before we do that, I want to leave you guys with practical tools of how you can go into this Rosh Hashanah seeing to it that your intentions manifest. Okay, so we said abracadabra. It gets created through speech. Speech is usually preceded by thoughts. Okay, so I took the word abra, create, and I turned it into a 4-letter acronym that's easy to remember. ABRA. So when you go home and you go into you got to go home, buy a new manifestation journal, start journaling, right? ABRA, do this avoda before going into Rosh Hashanah. That's my suggestion. A is ask. B, believe. R, receive. A, acknowledge. Ask, believe, receive, acknowledge. This will be recorded if anyone wants to come back to this later. Ask, get clear. What do you want? You know what? Let's rephrase that. Want implies lack, not what do you want. I put an end, I try to be intentional about putting to an end the word want from my vocabulary. I want to spend more time with my kids. I can want forever, right? No, I am spending more time with my kids. I am getting married this year. I am having Shalom Bayit this year. I am being more present and mindful and connected this year. Ask, get clear. What is your intention? And again, remember the manifestation ladder. You don't have to think, so many rungs up if that's overwhelming, but what's the very next rung? What is something, one thing I can focus on, one baby step in the right direction that can lead me towards my goal? Is it just being kinder, nicer, more giving, more chesed? Maybe it is getting married. Think big, whatever. But set an intention that does not allow the voice of self-doubt to come in and sabotage. Okay, that's the ask. And let's put it this way. When you think about getting clear about an intention, if you have two captains of two different ships, one has a clear destination of where they're going, and the other one is like, I'm just going to go wherever the wind takes me. Goes without saying, the one who's like free spirit, I mean, I'm kind of free spirit, but the one who's like free spirit is going to end up shipwrecked off the side of some island, where the one with a clear destination most likely is going to get where he or she wants to go. So that's the ask. B, believe. Work on your emuna, your faith, the understanding of how can I get back to that childlike innocence where anything was possible. And what it really requires is rewriting the stories. What's my story? What's holding me back? I said that my intention was surrender and letting go of control. What is my story that is stopping me from surrendering right here, right now? In what areas do I feel this need to control? What's my story? Then rewrite it. You are the writer, the producer, the director, and the main actress in your movie. Reproduce, rewrite, redirect, reroute the entire script. Okay, I'm skipping a few things because I'm looking at the time. Ani ledodi vedodi li. It's that consciousness of oneness. It's that consciousness of anything that Hashem does, because everything is one and everything is coming from that source of goodness, that source of infinite abundance. Right? When we recognize that and we lead with that, then even the situations in our lives that really try us, push us, make us uncomfortable, we can take a step back and realize there's nothing to ain yeush, like there's nothing, what's yeush in English? Despair, right? Like there's nothing to despair about, because you know what? That breakup, Hashem is teaching me a divine lesson specifically for my tikkun. My favorite mug that broke, that's a lesson for me in that moment. No matter how big or how small the struggle, there is a divine lesson for you in all of it. Parenting, I'm in it. I'm in the heat. I have two babies. It's a lot, right? And so in every moment, again and again, I can remind myself, this is what I'm meant to be doing right here, right now. And when we show up in life with that consciousness of Gamze Letova for everything, if we can say thank you for even the challenges, we actually send a signal up to the cosmic vortex, and it changes our reality down here. I'll share a quick story. When my daughter was like 3 months old, she was in the middle of my kitchen laying in that boppy pillow. And I'm just doing things around the kitchen. She's hanging out. She's laughing. I open up the freezer, and a big glass jar of frozen tomato sauce shatters on the floor into a million pieces. Before I even turned to look and see what happened, all I said was, Hashem, Gamze Letova. And I looked down, and there's my daughter with 1,000 pieces of glass surrounding her, and she's untouched. Right. Do I believe in my heart that because before I even saw what happened, I said Gamze Letova, Hashem moved pieces of glasses? He must have, because it's no chance that she was untouched. It was a miracle. So it's that consciousness of Echad. In fact, what better place to be now here during the month of Elul than Eretz Yisrael? They say Israel is the land of milk and honey. Eretz Chalav Udvash. We take the first letters of Eretz Chalav Udvash, Aleph, Chet, Daled, we get the word Echad. We're in the spiritual vortex. Take advantage of setting these intentions. And what is the food that we eat on Rosh Hashanah? Honey. Okay, do you know that scientifically it's not possible for bees to fly? Their bodies are this big and their wings are like itty bitty. It's like actually scientifically impossible. So they are the creature of possibility, of transcending nature, which means that honey is the food of the miraculous because honey is made by bees. How can we tap into that consciousness of being above nature? Okay. Let's get into the experience. So let everyone get comfortable. You know what? Actually, we're good. Play some music. I'm going to invite everyone to feet planted firmly on the ground or in a cross-legged position, whatever you're comfortable with. And let's take our palms and face our palms upward on our laps, the posture of receptivity. We are ready, willing, and excited to receive the miracles this upcoming year. And let's ground ourselves by taking a few deep breaths. Remember the intention you set before we started of what you want to bring in and what you want to let go of. Relax your shoulders. Relax the space behind your eyes, your forehead, your jaw, your chest. Opening your heart up to Shemaim, up to the higher realms. Hashem, we are ready to receive your infinite abundance. Whatever that looks like for you, simply start with that intention in mind. Rabbi Eliyahu ben Moshe Dividas writes in his work Reshit Chochmah that during the daily prayers we should imagine ourselves standing in Gan Eden, surrounded, embraced by the souls of righteous people. Ani ledodi vedodi li. Take this time to surround yourself and feel yourself embraced by Moshe Rabbeinu, Avraham Avinu, Rabbi Akiva, the Baal Shem Tov. You can just imagine their energy. Rebbe Nachman, Rashi, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, whoever you consider to be the greatest of greats. See it in your mind as though it's happening right now. If there's a maternal figure, a paternal figure in your own personal life, a parent, a grandparent who you want to bring into this, who you feel nurtured by, only people we feel nurtured by. See and feel yourself in Gan Eden. What does it look like? The rivers, the streams, the trees, the sparkles, the clouds, the sunshine. You're free. You're free from the stories, free from your past, ready and willing to rewrite. Basking in the presence of these spiritual masters. You notice, you see, at the center of Gan Eden, a chamber. This chamber is the Holy of Holies, the most sacred of spaces. Inside this mystical, glimmering chamber is Hashem, God's overwhelming divine presence. Before we enter this intimate space with Akol Yachol, infinite possibility, let's cleanse ourselves with our neshima, our breath. Let's take a deep breath in and a cleansing deep breath out. Breathe in new stories of infinite possibility. Breathe out the old stories that no longer serve. In Elul, we inhale our past year, we take it in and assume full responsibility for the way we live, and exhale new energy into the new year. We can say goodbye to our past if we choose to, and choose to see ourselves anew. The choice is yours. On the inhale, take it all in. And on the exhale, let it all go. You are surrounded by a divine presence who loves you, who wants to give to you, who wants to keep you safe. With this new consciousness, you are ready to enter into the Holy of Holies. See in your mind the shining gold glimmering doors engraved with the most exquisite bedazzled jewels and gems. Really see it. The angelic guards are ready to let you in. Hashem, the source of all manifestation, is waiting especially for your arrival. Feel the excitement growing inside your body. There is nothing to be afraid of. Hashem is ready to welcome you as you are, like a loving parent with open arms. The gates begin to open, and you make your way into the most sacred of spaces, into the Holy of Holies. Once you enter this space, something magical happens. All of our doubts and fears and old stories stay outside. All that exists is your highest self, your optimal self. Take a moment to receive the light from the source of your soul, from where your soul comes from. Bask in this light for a few moments. From this place, using the power of dimyon, imagination, to tap into who you really are inside, your inner yud, the point in which all manifestation begins. The part of you that is already perfect and good and pure. Suddenly, you notice a mirror in Gan Eden, in this Holy of Holies. It's a magical, glowing mirror. And as you walk over to that mirror, you see a reflection of yourself, a version of you that is radiant, happy, peaceful, grateful, complete. You have everything you need. From this place, you are able to transcend your struggles and challenges with ease. Gazing into this mirror, look into the pupils of your eyes. Bring to mind a particular version of yourself. It could be a character trait that you would like to manifest more of in this upcoming year. It could be inner peace, gratitude, connection, self-love, acceptance, alignment, whatever you want more of. Bringing that trait to mind, gaze more deeply at your reflection. See yourself as already having perfected that attribute. See yourself as already having manifested a life you love. What do you see? From this place, who is the person looking back? Notice your posture. Notice your smile. Notice your chen, your grace, your energy. Tap into your vibrational frequency. How do you feel living from this place? Tapping into your vibrational frequency allows you to lock it in. See yourself as you move through life with a new sense of clarity and confidence. Notice how magnetic you are. People gravitate towards you as you enter the room because you are radiating light. You are walking tall and gliding through life with a new sense of purpose. If there's something specific you want to manifest here, insert it now. See yourself in that life, whether it's a husband, parnasa, career, healing. See it, feel it, it's yours. By doing this, you are putting it into the quantum field. It exists now. Now bring yourself back to your mirror. Notice the smile on your face. You are at peace. You are confident that you can bring this version of you into your everyday life. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Another deep breath in and a deep breath out. With your eyes still closed, we're going to use the power of vibration to allow the vibration you're about to hear carry your thoughts, your intentions up to the higher realms. So again, bring whatever intention to mind, inner peace, connection, mothering, wifing, whatever it is, purpose, and allow the sound to carry your intention with it. And let's take in one last deep breath in and sigh it out. And slowly, you can come to open your eyes when you're ready. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And thank you, Rachel Zarabian, for putting this together and hosting the space. Did you want to have, do you have any last?
Help yourself to food and drink, and we're here if you have any questions.
Let's open it for a few questions now, then, before we move on. Yeah.
Do you want to tell us what you guys would do, just so we know? Because I know Jenna teaches yoga.
I'm a manifestation mentor. So I teach manifestation sourced in Torah and psychology.
Hi, I'm Jenna, if you don't know me, and I have a Jewish yoga course through the 12 Hebrew months. Elul is live if you want to join. And also we have a Spiro embodiment course launching right after Tishrei. It's going to be 7-week deep dive into the Spiro with movement and meditation and interpersonal practices. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions about that.
We'll send out an email with resources. Everyone signed up via Eventbrite, yeah? Okay, amazing. Yeah. So and we'll also send you links for all of our offerings in the emails. Just giving you a warning.
I am part of Jenna's yoga course for the last whole cycle, and it was amazing. So plug for Jenna's class. And I had a question for you, Alex. Just like when you were talking about, there's the two ships, and there's the one ship where the not the pilot,
Captain.
the captain has clear instructions. He knows where he wants to go, and then there's the other captain who is just kind of free spirit going with the flow. So the captain who knows where he wants to go, he's going to get where he wants to go. And the other one, he might get shipwrecked, but he might end up in some magical place that he didn't even know existed. Whereas the one who has such clear direction, is so set on the path, and I feel like a lot of people talking about releasing control, releasing kind of that grip on I know what I want, but maybe there's other things that I could manifest, or that could opportunities that I'm blocking because I'm so clear on them. So,
Manifestation is about holding two realities. One is clarity, the other is surrender. It's almost like holding two internal experiences at the same time, right? So, before I got married, I'd go to a friend's wedding. And while I was ecstatic and so happy for her and so happy to be there and really genuinely grateful that she met their husbands, there's also a part of me at the same time that's oh, but why not me, right? We can hold that paradox at the same time. So while you're right, they're in the captain that doesn't have a clear destination, they can be more open to wherever the winds take them. My advice is have your clarity, have your destination, but know that your emotions are your GPS. Meaning, while you have that clarity, can you be surrendered to the how? How am I meant to get there? It's the how that we allow that flexibility of being rerouted to a destination that is meant for us. But it doesn't negate the importance of having clarity. I always say I forget who coined this term, but they say a goal is a dream with a deadline. A goal is a dream with a deadline. People say keep dreaming. You have a desire, keep dreaming. Why? Because a dream can go on and on forever. But when you have clarity and you have a goal, now you have a deadline. That's that co-creative dance.
Tony Robbins.
How do you know what the I don't know what the proposed time frame for your destiny is? I'll give you an example, right? I've always dreamed of having a home that is whatever I dream of, X number of bedrooms, or just so, or is a reflection of who I am, because for a variety of reasons, right? But I don't know what that deadline is, and I keep on pining and praying for it, but then it doesn't happen, and then my husband's calm down, stop being so obsessive, that's the surrender part, right? But I don't know how much to surrender and how much to.
You're right. We don't know.
It feels when it doesn't happen, am I giving up on my dream? Am I just
Hmm. And you're right. So we don't know when. We don't know when. I'm a fan, and that having a date. I'll give you an example. I got to Israel. I lived in India for 6 years. Got to Israel, completely rerouted my life. I was totally open to divine guidance. After 9 months of being here, I said, I'm ready to get married. So I set an intention. I said, God, if it is your will or something better, my intention is to be married by the end of May of this year. Our wedding day was May 29th. Okay, does that happen for me every single time? No, right? Alevai. But when it doesn't happen, I'm rerouted to ask myself, how can I be more in alignment? Because I really do, and I have to believe wholeheartedly what the Baal Shem Tov said. If you believe with your whole heart that Hashem can do anything, then your intention manifests instantly. Now, that said, we have to let go of our deadline, meaning I set an intention, and that's where the surrender aspect comes in. Am I saying surrender is easy? No. No, I'm in a constant state of working on that constantly. People, oh, you teach manifestation, you must be surrendered all the time. No. Right. But I do have the tools, which I teach, right? I have the tools to help me notice when a thought is coming up and trying to take me out of that state of connection, of surrender. And then I pop those thought bubbles and I insert a better feeling thought. And I'm constantly I must look like a cuckoo banana person having a conversation with myself in my head because I'm always, delete, replace, delete, replace. So you're right.
No, I'm just saying that, I have been a student of Amuna for a long time now. And yeah, for the simpler stuff, I could say, like yesterday, I had a conversation with Hashem that I wanted all my clothes for Chagim. I wanted to find beautiful clothes that were tsanua, right, for Chagim. And this morning, I walked by this beautiful clothing store in this neighborhood that I found for the first time because I didn't know it existed. And I found 4 dresses for under 400 checkout.
Beautiful.
And they were beautiful.
You also came here and you manifested Rachel because Rachel is a social media influencer who does modest fashion. So you're in a constant state of perpetual manifestation. Mazal tov.
So like the simple stuff.
For sure. That's why I talk about the manifestation ladder. Hashem Ozel.
This is the big.
Right. So you work on the thoughts of self-doubt. What are those doubts? You work through that. It's an avoda. I have a whole course where I teach people, if we're doing a little promoting ourselves thing, right? Where I teach you how to go into the subconscious world, right? Because it's one thing to talk about it, but the avoda is where you see the magic. All right. Any other questions?
So I have around me, I mean, I feel like I'm living in a place that's not so suited for me, but it's good for my kids. It's very good for me. But whatever. And I have a lot of, trying to think how to say it nicely, external interference, yes, in my environment. And I have seen like crazy amazing things. Like we stayed in a place for Shana Rochas and we were renting a dump. And I said, oh, I want this. My daughter got married. And we stayed in a place for Shana Rochas and I was like, oh, I want a house like this. My husband was like, you can't say that. I was like, yes, I can. I'm not like, trying to take it away from them. I want like this. We literally, our landlord said, oh, we're selling the apartment. I was like, don't fall apart, don't fall apart. We literally moved to a place that's almost identical to what I wanted. And he said, I want like this, but I'm high. And that's what I got. I had crazy, also, my daughter went through a glass window. I was in the middle of saying thank you because I was sorry about something, somebody offended me. I was just saying thank you. She went through a glass window and did not get nothing. Like I've had things like that, but I have so much external on me all the time that I feel like it's just like it blocks down. I'm so much like trying to like block that out and whatever that I'm just focusing.
So I'll tell you what my Rebbitzin in my first year of marriage, if you know Yehudis Golshevsky, she told me when my husband and I were experiencing, conflict, she'd say, don't approach him directly. Daven into the food you make him. She told you the same thing? No. Okay, so I'll take that. I'll add to that even. That's powerful. I saw a transformation happen in my husband. Like it's undeniable. But it also because I changed. I changed. My approach wasn't you need to change. My approach was diving into the food, and in doing that, something in me shifted. But what I also will say is when it comes to manifestation, you can visualize the people in your lives showing up a certain way. So instead of nagging or telling them directly, because when does that ever work in our favor, right? You visualize them differently. Rabbi Nachman talks about it, having an Ein Tov, like tapping into their inner Yud. And by doing that, you can actually heal them and transform them.
So, like, if you have people around you that are just don't let you dream or think that your dreams are unrealistic, you should just like imagine them.
Meaning, if you're stuck with the person, like there's nothing you can. It's just that's who's in your life. Then yeah, bye, Hannah. For sure, you can do this for anybody. Any other questions? Yeah, yeah. Also, Jen, if you want to add anything to the question.
I just want to say thank you both so much, and thank you, Rachel, for hosting. I want to know, have you either of you seen experiences where you could actually change a health condition with manifestation and tapping into your
100%. My husband, I met him. He had chronic pain. He's okay with me sharing this. He. I'm not going to say it's completely disappeared, but I'd say 85% healed. Thank God.
I know
Right.
people that have healed themselves.
There's
from
also
cancer.
John Sarno. Are you familiar with John Sarno? I recommend if you want to heal your body with your mind, John Sarno, he writes The Mind-Body Connection. Profound. If it's not an actual, like, God forbid, a car accident or something that actually created, something like broken it. If there's no diagnosis for it and not you, but someone has gone to get it checked and doctors can't understand where it's coming from, like fibromyalgia, chronic pain, then that's the type of stuff you can heal with your mind.
something like
Diabetes, anything. And I work with cancer patients on healing their situation. Yeah. Hi.
How can we learn to live like more in our observability, like we want to, or get out of our own way?
Jenna, do you want to?
What was the question?
How can we like believe in our observability and get out of our own way so we can manifest better things?
I think it's a constant state of surrender and a meditation, steady practice, and any committed practice, whether it's like showing up to your prayer rituals, to your yoga, to your meditation, whatever it is, to have those rituals in place it's an external reminder to surrender constantly. Because some days we'll show up to our ritual feeling empty and depleted, but if it's steady and consistent and we bring ourselves there, and that's the work, then Hashem does the rest.
So you're saying is the external work, the consistency of doing something externally will help us feel more
I
deserving
think
and
putting
worthy.
the structures in place to let it happen, because in the chaos and the busyness of our life, we could have these desires and these dreams, and we could have a state of being that we want to, say, be at a higher frequency, but if we don't have it in our schedules, then where is that going to blossom? Kind of like Ayala talks about the flower garden. We have to, as a gardener, you have to take time to flower and to weed and to water. So whether it's like unrolling your yoga mat and letting that be like a sacred time, or lighting candles and like sitting with yourself, it has to be those external structures that allow that
Beautiful.
to blossom.
Ritual, like ritual
Right,
is so
that's like
powerful.
Hitbodedut.
Hitbodedut is part of ritual. And I'll also just like add that what is the story behind unworthiness, right? The therapist in me wants to respond to that and say, let's unpack self-esteem, right? Because usually they go together. So how can we start working on building and boosting our self-esteem to get us to a place where we now really internalize that we are worthy and deserving and nothing less. You're a bat melech.
But I guess linked to that, if we've never seen something happen and we want to manifest it, it's like not possible for us because we've never experienced it. So how do we get to that place of being able to receive something and then we deserve something that we've never experienced before?
If
Sorry, that was a mouthful.
no, it's a good question.
I went through this. Like I went through a very challenging period in my entire childhood, and where there were experiences that were negative or traumatizing, whatever, I took that experience and like gave it new meaning in terms of what did that experience teach me, what gifts did I get from that experience, and how am I the wonderful person that I am today because of that experience. Because I learned early on to be very mature and whatever, or like when I was bullied in school, what does that teach me? It taught me, to take care of myself or whatever. So you take those negative experiences and try to figure out like what is the gift that you got from that negative experience, and that made you the wonderful person that you are today. Like what is the diamond that you got from that experience, and that helps you appreciate yourself, and say, hey, I'm really a wonderful person. I'm worthy of the shefa that I'm kind for and praying for.
So it's not like you just wake up one day and feel worthy and deserving. I feel like it's so like right. I just want to like add to that because I feel like
friends. It doesn't necessarily need to be with therapists. But
Right. Or you work with Rebecca, who's a boudoir photographer, amazing boudoir photography.
thank you. I mean, for me, like I've been on a healing journey for like the last decade, and it's not like one thing that made me feel like self-love or that made me feel worthy or deserving. It's like
Right.
so many little things, so many baby steps over such a long period of time. So like what Ayala was saying about having that intention, I think that is such a big thing. Like you're like, I want to feel deserving. I want self-love. So like being committed to it and relentless and just like looking in your life for like any kind of tools to help get you there and just keep going because it's possible.
100. I'll tell you, like growing up, I was not the popular girl. I was like the girl who I was chubby, I was insecure, I had self-doubt. Like I had to come a long way to get to this place to like own my power, So again, like there's hope, but it's in I think a lot of the ritual and the every day a little baby step in the right direction. Visualizing yourself how you would like to feel. If you've never experienced something in the past, which was your original question, how can you visualize it? How can you manifest it? You know what so you see yourself as living that. What do you look like? Right? How are you showing up in life? Yeah. Exactly. All right, we're gonna wrap up so that everyone has time to grab some food if they'd like to. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank God. Thank you.
Is this getting streamed live?
No, not. It's recorded.
Video.
It's a video. Yeah.
I was really wonderful.
Thank you. Thank
Really
God.
enjoyed that.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Esther, right?